Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having a great week so far. I hope you're all healthy and strong. Welcome Fuang, Domenico, Masanate, Chayani. Nice to see many of our members in this class ready to learn. Welcome Habib, Ryan. Good to see many of our regular viewers and subscribers as well. Students, in this class, we are going to be looking at an IELTS speaking part 1 to start off this week of live classes. And this one will be about music. IELTS speaking, the speaking part or section of your exam is a 12 to 15 minute interview. It consists of 3 parts, starting with part 1 being the easiest, but also the most stressful, because it's when students are trying to get comfortable with this daunting examiner that is assessing their English ability. So we're going to focus on having a strong start to your speaking. And speaking part 1 is a general topic that's related to you. So in this case, of course, it's music. You can expect that the questions will be related to your favorite types of music, when you listen to music, and so forth. So we'll be looking at those today, and we will be practicing questions and answers, and I will be showing you what skills and techniques lead to a Band 8, Band 9 score for Part 1 in the speaking. This material is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that we have produced which power these live lessons. We will use one of these websites today for interacting with students, talking, asking questions for part 1 as well. These websites have our textbooks, our audio CDs. So definitely, if you like these live classes, join the premium package. It's a one-time payment. You click this big red button that's just above my head there for aehelp.com. and you get lifetime access. It doesn't cost a lot of money, so it's a very effective way to invest a little bit of money into increasing your IELTS scores. We are an IDP affiliate, British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent, so we're definitely here to help you, and we know what you need to do. The discount code we have for you this week is DO9TY. That discount code will get you a 10% discount to further help you make up your mind and join the premium course. The general IELTS is gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, and again, you just click that big red button that's right above my head there, right there, to join the premium IELTS package. We also released a new video for you in the last couple of days. Hopefully you checked that out. I'll share the URL for that in a second. We have websites for you, or sorry, apps. If you go to your app store, you can download Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Install those on your phone or your tablet, and then you can link those to the websites as well. You can follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. And you can also subscribe to this YouTube channel to get these live class notifications. Of course, hit the bell button so you get notified. This week we've got lots of live classes for you. If you have questions about IELTS or English, send us an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. All right. Shub, I see that you're saying it was very helpful, sir. I'm not sure what you are referring to, but I'm glad that something we did was very, very helpful. Black Panther, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. All right. Domenico, I can see that it's very cold for you in Sicily today. Yes, temperatures have dropped a little bit here also. Gian, Jellico, thank you for joining our group of members. Welcome aboard. All right, as you can see, students, I'm constantly checking the chat as well. So if you have questions, you can also ask me there. Okay. All right, everybody. So we've got our schedule up. You can check it out on our YouTube community posts as well. We've got the speaking part 1 right now. Then tomorrow we'll have some reading for members a little bit earlier, and then we'll have listening part 3 and part 4 for our subscribers at around this time. So definitely subscribe to the channel. And then on Saturday we will have more speaking. We'll have speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. So definitely mark that all in your calendar. Attend these live classes, use them together with your premium IELTS package, and you're golden. You're going to be ready for that exam when it's coming. This is the most recent video release. I'll put that in the chat. There you go. You can check that out when you got a minute. It's a really good IELTS speaking training practice video, this one, students. I highly recommend checking it out and doing the first person karaoke style speaking practice. Okay. All right. Domenico, I just got back from 3 days of skiing up on Mount Washington, so I know what it's like to be in the cold, especially recently, but mind you, that was a lot of fun, so I can't complain about that, that's for sure. All right, students, let's get into some speaking questions. All right, so for those of you who are, again, new to the IELTS speaking section, it's a 15-minute interview, 12 to 15 minutes, not to be taken lightly. It's not just a friendly conversation, okay? Do not fall into the misconception that you are going there to have a 12-minute chat with some examiner. It is a structured oral exam with 3 parts. Part 1, they will ask you some questions on a general topic, some questions to get to know you, introductions. Part 2, there will be a cue card where you have to answer some specific questions and give a 1 to 2 minute little presentation. And then part 3 will be follow-up questions that are related to that part 2. And those are dealing more with the general public and community concept. Okay, you have to practice these. It's a formal, professional style of communication where you should use natural language. You should use some expressions, idiomatic language. Most importantly, you need to give coherent and accurate answers, okay? So definitely practice for your IELTS speaking months before your exam, okay? And we'll show you how to do that. When you do have your test on test day, show up 1 hour before your exam start time, okay? You have to show up at least 20 minutes before because they tell you that you have to register and check in 20 minutes before your interview time starts. But show up 1 hour before your interview starts and find another candidate to practice your English with and get confidence while warming up. Okay? So it's a very, very important tip. This tip alone can save you an entire band score, everybody. Okay? That's why I repeat it just about every single time we do speaking. All right? So IELTS is marked on a 9-band scale. Speaking is no different. Speaking is also marked on a 9-band scale. And a lot of people miss their needed score by half a band or 1 band. So like a 5.5 instead of a 6.5 or a 6 instead of a 6.5. So this one tip can be that difference, okay, of that half band. Is showing up early, finding another candidate. If you show up just before your exam and you're sitting quietly in a corner or you're chatting with your friend in your own language, that's going to take you the other direction. All right. Invisible says, okay. All right. Rakwea says, in India, they allow entry only 20 minutes before. There is no atmosphere to talk. Rakwea, outside the exam center, you can always find somebody who is there waiting to go in, and they're early. Okay, you don't have to be in the exam center to find that person. You can be outside of the exam center. I have done the IELTS exam, and when I showed up at the exam center, in the exam center, there wasn't really chances to find someone, but outside the exam center, I saw several people waiting for their IELTS, and I asked this one guy, and he was really happy. He was like, yeah, sure, that sounds really good. And so we sat down on a bench outside the building and we talked. I am certain that in India, where English is a very popular language, you can find someone before your IELTS exam to talk to for an hour, okay? All right. Bekaris Zangarov is saying, my speaking exam is tomorrow. I'll keep my fingers crossed that you get a good score, Bekaris. And follow this advice. Tomorrow, show up to your exam 1 hour early. Find another candidate. Talk to them. Bring some speaking questions with you and practice it with them. Okay? All right. So, Zarnagor says, my exam is in 2 weeks and I have a question. Zarnagor, just ask away. Okay? All right. Oleski, our member, is saying, from your experience, what is the most problematic part of the exam? Oleski, the most problematic part of the exam, I find, for the speaking, we're dealing with the speaking right now, is the candidates don't give clear answers. So we're going to focus on that. They don't provide a clear answer to the question with a good explanation. Okay? All right. Okay, students, so you show up to your exam 1 hour early, you find another candidate, you practice some IELTS speaking questions with them, you build that confidence, you go in, you register 20 minutes before, then you spend the next 20 minutes thinking about your strategies, practicing your English with anyone you can find, going to the washroom so that you don't have to do that while you're in the test. Take a bottle of water with you. It's good to have. It helps you to calm down, helps you to speak clearly. Okay, so be yourself, be you. You deserve to be there. All right. And then you get called in by the examiner, and the examiner will sit there and they will be like me. It depends if you're doing the face-to-face or the computer-based exam, but you're basically sitting there looking at a guy like me or at a girl, and they will set up the interview by saying, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. It has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. I'm recording this for marking and clerical purposes. This is candidate number 75918972, examiner number 5481. Exam Center 7YQ94 in Vancouver. The time right now is 14 o'clock. Let's begin. May I see your identification? Always the first question. If you cannot produce the same identification you did at check-in, they will ask you to leave. So they will ask you, may I see your identification? Now, you should have a very natural, calm response and a full sentence for this, knowing that this question is coming. Okay? All right. So give me a nice full sentence answer. Okay? Nice full sentence answer for this question. Kashish, yes, here it is too simple. It seems like you're scared. You're going to just keep your sentences really short. Okay. Harjad says, yes, sure. Here's my passport that I've used for registration. Please have a look. Harjad, that is good. Okay. So at least say this much, students. You want to show right away to this examiner that you are there to give nice, clear, full sentences. You understand that you are in a professional communication for the next 12 to 15 minutes. So notice that hard jot starts with a little bit of colloquial English, like yeah, sure, is colloquial, but it's okay. If you'd like to start a bit on the more on the polite end, you can say yes, absolutely. Here is my passport, which I had used to register and check in. Please have a look at my credentials. Okay, and then hold it up nice and confidently for the examiner. All right. CR7 says this. Okay. So CR7 says, sure, it's my passport. And of course, I'm guessing you're holding your passport here. So technically, the examiner is not marking you on these questions, but indirectly, it's affecting your score. Okay, so there's quite a bit of confusion around how the examiner establishes your score. Okay, keep in mind, students, this is very important. Okay, that certain behaviors during your speaking interview will have an indirect impact on your score. They are not directly assessing the level, but it does affect your score. Okay, so this is really, really important. So, you know, like some people will say, oh, but Adrian, those first few questions, like the ones that are like, you know, what's your name? May I see your identification? It doesn't affect your score. How wouldn't it? If I'm measuring your ability to communicate, then any word and every word you say to me within that context of the interview will have an effect on your score, directly or indirectly. Okay, yeah, sure. So your direct score will come from the specific questions of part 1, part 2, part 3. But your level of confidence, the way you intonate, your fluency, your ability to enunciate, your pronunciation, your choice of words are affected by your body language. Okay? Some videos out there say, oh, body language is not important. What? Psychology has shown that 60% of communication is nonverbal. Okay? We communicate with our face and our hands a lot. Of course it has an effect on your score. Your body language and your verbal language are tied in the same places in your brain. Okay, so if you're not moving your hands or your lips and you're talking like this, you're not going to make a lot of sense. It's going to be a little bit flat and incoherent. Okay, so of course it helps to move your hands and your body. And of course, if you start your IELTS speaking interview by saying, yeah, sure, here, okay, here. My name, Adrian. Yes. Okay. Yes. I wake up. 7. Yes. Okay. Of course there's going to affect your score. Of course it's going to affect your score. All right. Think about it, guys and girls. All right. You're there to communicate every word that you say. If you show up in your work pants that you use to clean your house, okay, and you're dirty, of course it's going to affect your score and your confidence in the way the examiner's looking at you. We're all human, all right? So you have to consider those indirect effects. Is the examiner going to give you bonus marks for showing up 1 hour before your exam? Of course not. But is that going to affect your score? Of course it will, because your brain is working in English for an hour before your exam, all right? It's not rocket science, guys. Come on, all right? Okay. The answers have to be, so Mandy says, but the answers have to be to the point. Yes, but they have to be expressive. Okay, so there's a balance between being to the point and being expressive. All right, this person is a stranger. They don't know you. They don't know the way that you think. Don't overspeak, but don't underspeak. You have to find that balance, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, all right, so the right balance for this kind of question when you meet a stranger, may I see your identification, is yes, sure, here's my passport that I've used for registration. Please have a look. Okay, instead of yes, sure. Okay, if I'm traveling and I'm going through the airport and I'm at customs and the customs officer asks me, can I see your passport? I don't just go, yeah, sure, and stick it in front of them. I go, yes, of course, just give me a second. I have to get it from my luggage or I have to get it from my pocket. So I use a full sentence to express myself, right? Okay, so be expressive, okay? And then the examiner will ask you, what is your full name? Again, be expressive, okay? Don't just go John Smith. Okay, John, right? So be expressive. Like Anurag in the chat. All right, Anurag says, my given name is Anurag and my family name is Shak. Please call me Anurag. Perfect. It's not over talking. It's expressive. Okay. So you don't have to be like, my given name is Anurag and my family name is Shak, as you will see in my passport, but all of my friends like to call me Anurag. So you can do the same. Thank you. Okay. We don't have to do that. Okay. So, you know, we know that that's a bit much, right? But saying, you know, Anurag Shah, okay. What should I call you? Anurag, okay, Anurag, right? That's awkward, right? So Anurag here has the perfect kind of balance of answers. Says, my given name is Anurag, my family name is Shah. Please call me Anurag, okay? Ganesh, if you have a middle name, you can give your middle name as well, all right? Okay, if you have a middle name, you would say my given names are, okay? So Ganesh says, what if I have a middle name? If you have a middle name, you can do this, okay? You can say my given names are Thomas, Frederick, and my surname is Mackenzie. But I just go by Fred. Please call me Fred. Okay, so you can do that if you have a middle name. All right. My given names are Thomas Frederick. My surname is Mackenzie, but I just go by Fred. Please call me Fred. Okay, Fred. For part one, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Chayani, we don't say my long name, okay? It's just my full name, my whole name, my given name. Don't say my long name, okay? That's strange, all right? Okay, next question, very common one. The examiner will say, do you work or study? Icon says, currently I'm in my penultimate year and I'm studying petroleum engineering at university. Yeah, it's okay. Penultimate year is kind of unnatural. You wouldn't really hear a native speaker using that so much. So you want to say something like, currently I'm in my final year and I am studying petroleum engineering at university. And then you might say something a little bit more icon, like, and after I graduate, I plan to do my master's in the US. Okay, something like that. So a little bit more, all right? You want to speak, express yourself. All right. Uba Dulayev says, Okay, so be expressive, students. Be expressive. Ubadulayev says, I both work and study. I study at the University of ABCO, and I work as a teacher in an international school. Okay, Ubaydulayev. I both work and study is a good start. I like the use of the correlative conjunction, both and. Okay, that emphasizes that you do this and this. So I both work and study. Instead of repeating I study, I would say I'm a student. So we want to avoid repetition within sentences. I'm a student at the University of, we don't usually say named, it's not natural, of ABCO, and I work as a teacher in an international school teaching students geography. Okay, so finish that idea. If I'm your examiner and you're sitting there and you're telling me that you're a student at the University of ABCO and that you teach at an international school, I have two questions in my head right away. Ubaydulayev. One question, what do you study? The other question, what do you teach? Okay, you've told me that you study and that you teach, but you haven't told me what you study or what you teach. And that's kind of weird. Okay, I would like to know that, all right, as your examiner. Because in a natural conversation with a stranger, those would be natural questions, okay? So one way to think about, like students will often ask me like, well, how much do I answer? Like, what do I say? Where do I stop? Okay, those are very, very common questions. Do you have those questions, students? Like, do you have this question in your head? Like, how do I know what to say and when to stop speaking? Are these questions in your head when you're doing the IELTS? Okay, Muhammad kind of says yes. Okay, well, one way to think about this, all right, so Zarnigor says yes. Narusuke says yes. Good. Right. That makes sense. Right. How do I know what to say and when to stop speaking? So think about it this way, right? Use your best logic. Okay. So think about the examiner and what you would like to know if the tables were turned and you were talking to a stranger candidate. Okay, so think about it that way, right? So if you're the examiner and you're speaking to Ubaydulayev and Ubaydulayev says, I both work and study. I'm a student at the University of ABCO and I work as a teacher in the international school. Many of us, if not all of us, would naturally have this curiosity of like, okay, so what do you study and what do you teach, right? Do you agree with me? Would that be naturally just, some questions that would come to your mind right away if you heard a candidate say that, look, I study at the University of Victoria and I'm also teaching at an international school in Lingua, right? Wouldn't you naturally be like, okay, so what do you teach? What do you study, right? Okay, of course you would, or many of you would, for sure. Because if the student just goes to the next question, you're kind of like, so are we getting to know each other or are we just really talking in the air beside each other, right? Okay, so that's what you have to think about, all right? So what would you think? And what would be the over speaking, right? If the person starts talking about the car that they bought last week, you'd be like, well, I don't really want to know about that. We're talking about your work and your study, right? Okay, so think about the examiner and what you would like to know, all right? Another way, of course, that you should always think, as I keep saying, is you want to give an answer, an explanation, and an example, okay? The explanation is especially important. The example is a good idea, but you don't always need it. The why question is very important. It's the most important question. Humans love to know reasons. The reasons for it. We're a curious bunch. We're curious to know the reasons for ideas. Okay, so make sure to give explanations basically for every single question. Okay, every single question. All right, students. So here we go. Next question. Give me a nice full sentence answer and then we'll analyze it. Okay. What do you like to do when you are not working or studying? Okay, so depending on what you just answered, the examiner will often follow up questions, even in part one. They want you to realize that they are in a conversation with you. It's not just random questions being listed for you, okay? So what do you like to do when you're not working or studying? All right. All right, so let's take a look at Alexi's answer here. Okay, so Alexi is one of our members, and Alexi says, I do really enjoy to stroll along pavement. It helps me unwind. However, I don't have enough time to do it on a daily basis as I want. Okay. So this would be about a band 5 level answer, Alexi. Okay. Why? So let's analyze each other's responses a little bit. And that's a good way to understand what you should say, what you shouldn't say, how you should say it. Let's take a look at Alexi's response here. Okay, we learn from each other. Peer learning is fantastic. Okay. So I do really enjoy to stroll along pavement. It helps me unwind. However, I don't have enough time to do it on a daily basis as I want. Why is this a band 5? Okay. What do you think? So why would the examiner, even if you say this fluently, just like I did right now, you would get a band 5 for it? So why do you think that is? Raquea says it's off topic. So some of it goes off topic. What is off topic here? I agree with you. So this part here is off topic. Okay. However, I don't have enough time to do it on a daily basis as I want. Maybe it's just me. Don't take this the wrong way, Alexi, but I don't care. I wasn't asking you about that. Okay, so in the examiner's head, I don't really care that you don't have time for it. I wasn't asking you about that. Okay, so that's what's going on in the examiner's head. I do really enjoy to stroll along pavement. This is strange. Okay. That's strange English. I mean, are you telling me like you like to walk around in the city? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I think maybe. So I like I enjoy taking a 30-minute stroll around the city when I'm not hitting the books, as this helps me unwind. Okay. Somebody says the helps me unwind was incorrect, but that actually is correct. The helps me unwind, that's the correct part of this sentence. So it helps me unwind, perfect English, natural, no mistakes there. Okay. So I think what you're trying to tell me is that you like to walk around your neighborhood and on the city streets. Walking along on the pavement, it's a bit weird to say. Okay, so I do really enjoy to take a 30-minute stroll around the city when I'm not hitting the books or when I'm not studying. Okay, as this helps me unwind. And then instead of saying, however, I don't have enough time to do it, that's going kind of into an unnecessary area there. We could say like, I went for a walk just yesterday after studying IELTS for 8 hours. Okay, so this would be your band 9 response. All right. Now, students, make sure to only put your comments in the chat once, please. Don't flood the chat. Okay, it helps me to teach you better. And pay attention to this band 9 versus band 5 example here, right? So this is the original. Listen. So what do you like to do when you are not working or studying? I do really enjoy to stroll along pavement. It helps me unwind. However, I don't have enough time to do it on a daily basis as I want. Okay, here's a band 9 response. What do you like to do when you are not working or studying? I do really enjoy I enjoy taking a 30-minute stroll around the city when I'm not hitting the books, as this helps me unwind. I went for a walk just yesterday after studying IELTS for 8 hours. Okay, so that would be your upgraded version of a response to what the examiner does want to hear. Okay, so this is what you like doing. Okay, that's what you did the last time. All right, fine. Now, the examiner will say, let's talk about music. You are very welcome, Alexi. All right. So, let's talk about music. What is your favorite kind of music? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this. Remember, part 1 is all about you, students. This is speaking, so be sure to speak and repeat. So copy what I say, copy how I say it, the corrections as well. Okay? All right. Students, use English in the chat and put your answers only once, please. All right, so only once. All right, Azio, here we go, says, my favorite kind of music is pop. Actually, I like all kinds of music, but the most favorite part is pop. That is because most people listen to music. Pop music is the most common music around us. Band 5. Okay. Why does Azio get a band 5 for this answer? If you say it fluently. If you don't say it fluently, you get a band 4. If you have to think about it. Okay, there's a few different mistakes with this as well. Okay, so here is Azio's answer. My favorite kind of music is pop. Actually, I like all kinds of music, but the most favorite part is pop. That is because most people listen to music. Pop music is the most common music around us. Harjot says it's off topic. Pop, pop, pop. You're right a little bit, Harjot. It is kind of off topic, but it's not because of pop, pop, pop. Vudunk says it's repetition. Yes, exactly. So the examiner here will say, yep, there's too much repetition. So this is what the examiner is thinking. Awkward repetition of the same idea. Yes, that would be one negative. Okay, what else? What else is it? So tell me every part that the examiner would find wrong with this answer, why they would not give it a good band score. Okay? So why would the examiner say that, okay, this is a band 5 answer at best, even if you're really fluent, you're using nice pronunciation, you're getting a band 5. Okay? Harjot says there's no explanation. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a very confusing explanation at best, okay? All right. Yeah, Vu says it's poor cohesion. Yeah, it's very disjointed. Students, who is this question asking about? What is your favorite kind of music? Who is this question asking about? Okay, who is this question asking about? Is it asking about people? Is it asking about the world? Is it asking about aliens? Yeah, Kiol says all people don't matter here. It's asking about you. Exactly. So Ezio starts by saying, my favorite kind of music is pop. And then Ezio gets really confusing. Okay, so the answer gets very confusing. Actually, I like all kinds of music. Okay, so wait a second. Your favorite is pop, or actually you like all kinds of music? All right, I don't get it now. So I'm confused. As soon as the examiner is confused, your band score is dropping like a meteor falling out of the sky, okay? Keep that in mind, students. So as soon as the IELTS examiner feels confused by your answer, your speaking score drops like a meteor falling from the sky. Okay. All right. You cannot confuse the examiner. So you can't say my favorite kind of music is pop and then say, actually, I like all kinds of music. If you tell me that and we're speaking in our own native language, I'm still going to be like, okay, so is pop your favorite music, right? So just stick to one answer here. Okay. And then there's a really awkward, like, loop back, but my most favorite is pop. It's like, so your favorite is pop, so your favorite is not pop, so your favorite is pop. What? This is where if your examiner is a robot, they start to spark, explode. Okay, but they're not robots, not yet. Anyway, and then suddenly here, that is because most people listen to music. What? How is that related to you liking pop? And then pop music is the most common music around us. Really? I didn't know that. Did Wikipedia tell us this information? So there's just a lot of confusion here. Okay, when there's a lot of confusion, you're not getting a good band score. All right. So you have to really clear this up, Ezio, to make it a band 9 level answer. So your correct answer here would be something like, I enjoy listening to pop music the most because I like the rhythm and energy of this genre. My favorite pop artist is Rihanna, for instance. Okay, however we spell her name there. All right. Not a super long answer, but clear, right? So I enjoy listening to pop music the most because I like the rhythm and energy of this genre. My favorite pop artist is Rihanna. Okay, good. I can give you a band 9. I know what your favorite is, why you like it, and you just gave me an example of it. Sure, band 9. Okay. Does that make sense, right? Okay, does that make sense? The difference there, right? So content, I can't remember who it was, but somebody at the beginning of the class asked me, like, what is, according to my experience, what's the most common difficulty for people in the speaking section? And my answer was the content, what people actually say. So it's not the pronunciation, it's not the grammar, it's not the lexical resource. It's the content, it's the coherence. Students tend to speak to the examiners like they're talking to their buddy, like they're talking to one of their siblings that they've known for a long time. And this is a professional conversation, okay? You really have to pay attention to clear, accurate answers, right? Part 1 is about you. Don't talk about people. Don't talk about the world, okay? Here we go. Next question. Try this one, students. We'll do 1 or 2 more, and then we'll actually get into some real practice here, okay? So what do you use to listen to music? Give me a nice full sentence answer to this question. So what do you use to listen to music? Now I see some better answers, by the way, coming up in the chat. Ishma says, I'm fond of classical music because it's calm and smoothing. When I listen to such type of music, I can relate the lyrics to my life, think about loved ones, and I enjoy that. Ishma, that's a great answer. All right. Ubaydulayev, that's a much better answer to this question. Ubaydulayev, if you look at the chat, says, in order to listen to music, I always use my headphones because it is the most convenient device for me in terms of listening to my favorite songs. My headphones are linked to my smartphone, and my smartphone has a music player app and gigabytes of my favorite songs, okay? So what do you use to listen to music? Keel says, music is all around me. Keel, how is that connected to what do you use to listen to music? Start with, I use my phone and YouTube to listen to music because YouTube has any song I can think of at any time. The other day, I really wanted to listen to a Michael Jackson song, so I looked it up on YouTube and immediately it was there. Okay, so Kyol, more accurate answers, all right? Okay, Ma'an says, I use many things like mobile phones and laptops, but I enjoy it the most on the television. Ma'an, you don't use many things because you don't use your broom and you don't use your microwave. So I use a lot of different electronics, devices, hardware, and software. Don't use the word things, students. It's awkward and useless, okay? All right, so what do you use to listen to music? Most of the time, I stream music from the internet using my smartphones, and my smartphone and my Bluetooth speakers. This is because I am listening to music on the go when I commute to school. Okay, there you go. There's a nice Band 9 answer for you. So again, repeat after me, okay? And when you hear new words, remember them, write them down. So, what do you use to listen to music? Most of the time, I stream music from the internet using my smartphone and my Bluetooth speakers. This is because I'm listening to music on the go when I commute to school. Super. Let's go to the next question, okay? All right, students, I want you to practice this with me so I can give you a better, clearer concept of the speaking section. So again, we're going to go to our website here, and on the website you can volunteer to speak. So we're going to actually do some IELTS speaking interview on this topic. To volunteer for speaking, you can register a free or a paid account at aehelp.com or at glshelp.com if you're a general IELTS student, okay? So you go to aehelp.com. That's this one here with the blue background. General IELTS is the green background. Again, you can create a premium account with this big red button that's just above my head there. Okay. And then once you have a My Student account, you can click on this, and you can use this for free, by the way, also, students. There's a computer-based practice exams in here and audio CDs and lots more, but we're using the student partner speaking right there. That's also just above my head to talk with each other. You click on that. You accept the terms that you're going to speak politely, practice IELTS, and then you will be in here with all of your fellow students and peers. You see many of our premium students in here: Marcienne, Raquea, Andrew, Eugene, Piotr. So that's fantastic. You see a lot of our members and so forth. You'll see me in here. You'll see me as master. Okay. You will see a blue envelope next to my name as well, like here with Kamal. And you can click on that blue envelope and then send me a message. Say, I want to volunteer. And then we'll get into some IELTS speaking practice, okay? So let me just reach out to someone here and start the day off with some volunteering. All right. Virgo, I think we spoke to last week. So let's see if Virgo is there. We can try again. Virgo, are you ready? Up. Here we go. Are you ready, Virgo? Virgo says yes. All right. Hi, Virgo. Virgo.
Hello?
Hi, Virgo. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. Virgo, can you remind me where you are? I think this is your second time calling, correct?
Yes,
Perfect. You're back for a bit more. That's awesome. And where are you right now, Virgo?
I come from Vietnam, and I come from the north of Vietnam in Hà Nội.
Okay, so from Vietnam, that is fantastic. Virgo, are you ready to practice a few speaking part 1 questions?
Yes,
All right, let's get into it. So, welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Do you work or study?
yes. I am studying in Fulton Secondary School.
What do you like to do when you are not working or studying?
When I don't want to study, I usually watch films in order to release stress and anxiety, and sometimes I have a great conversation with my friends. Last week I had a great conversation with John, a friend of mine. He was very.
Let's talk about
he's working.
music. What is your favorite kind of music?
Actually, it's my favorite genres of music. My favorite music genres is modern music it because in this day and age, many many traditional musics like folk music or classical music are outdated, and my first guy and when I have free time, I usually listen to many songs a song by Samsung NTV and Taylor Swift,
Okay, let's
and
stop there.
especially
All right. Virgo, not bad. Good. You're starting to get going, and I'm really happy you came back and volunteered a second time because that's what you need to do. You need to practice a lot of your speaking. So I can tell that you have a lot of vocabulary. You're practicing your grammar, and you need to use it in your speaking. So your band score for that, Virgo, would be about a band 4.5 to 5. The reason is because I'm having difficulty clearly understanding what you're saying. And I know we don't have a perfect connection, so we have a little bit of static and we have a little bit of interference. I think if we were face to face in the same room, I would understand you a little bit better. But your answers are still confusing for me. And one of the reasons why your answers are confusing for me, Virgo, is because you restart yourself. So, for example, when I said, do you work or do you study? I understood the first part a bit, but then the next part was a bit unclear. So you want to really concentrate on having clarity from start to finish. When I asked you, what do you like to do when you're not working or studying? You said, when I am, and then you said, when I don't want to. So you restart yourself, okay? Try not to restart yourself. So try to carry the first thought all the way from start to finish, okay? So if you start with when I am, just keep going with that. So when I am not studying for university, I like to hang out with my friends or watch a movie just to relax and recharge my batteries. Last Saturday, I was tired of reading my textbooks, so I went to a cafe with my friend Mary for a couple hours. Okay, so I just keep going with the same idea. I don't jump back and correct myself every time. Okay, I really want you to practice that, where you just start with one idea and you finish with that idea. Okay, Virgo?
yes,
Does that make
I'm
sense?
agreeing.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. So practice that and come back again and keep volunteering. Okay. I want to hear that next time that when we're chatting, where you just continue with the same thought. Okay.
yes,
All right. Thank you for being my first volunteer this week, Virgo. Have an awesome rest of your day in Vietnam.
yes.
Okay. Bye for now. All right, that was Virgo. I could tell she was a little bit nervous, but it's okay. That's how we start. Piotr, let's try Piotr. We don't talk much, I think, Piotr. And Piotr is a premium student. All right, Piotr, let's check this out. Are you ready? Okay, hang in there, students. We've got a bit of time. Piotr, if you're there, let me know. You are. Good.
Hello,
Hi, Piotr. How are you?
I'm fine, but a little bit nervous. What about you?
I am doing all right. Thank you for asking. Piotr, have we had a chance to talk in the past?
Yeah, we had a chance. I think 1 month ago. I was volunteering while reading section.
Okay, but not for the speaking. Good. I thought I've recognized your voice. Can you just tell everybody where you are and why you're taking the IELTS?
I am right now in Russia, the capital Moscow city, and I'm taking the IELTS to continue my studies abroad in Europe.
Okay. All right. And what will you be studying?
I will be studying chemistry.
Chemistry. Okay. All right. Very interesting science. It's a tough one. I found it difficult, but I always
Yeah.
found it very interesting. Okay, Peter, then let's get into it. Are you ready for some questions?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about music. What is your favorite kind of music?
My favorite genre of music is indie pop, I think, because of chill vibes that it provides to me, and because of simple drum and piano sounds.
What do you use to listen to music?
Usually, I use my smartphone and laptop, and to improve my experience, I use headphones. But apart from these physical objects, I use streaming service Spotify, which has a huge library of music.
How often do you listen to music?
I listen to music every day. I think maybe 5 times a day because I listen to it while I'm on my way at university and while I'm cooking. So I think that I listen to it very much.
All right, good. Piotr, I'm going to stop there and just give you some feedback. So fairly good. Okay, coherent, clear, a good balance of information, start to stop. You would definitely get a band 7.5 to 8 for that so far. So according to the IELTS, band 7 is good English, band 8 is very good English. But it's not just good English or very good English, it's also good communication to very good communication. So that's kind of the hidden part that a lot of the candidates aren't clearly aware of, that it's not just English, but it's communication. Especially at the 7, 8, 9 level, they're not just looking for English, they're looking for communication. And here your communication was good to very good, not necessarily very good to expert, right? So that's what you want to reach. Let me give you a little bit of feedback and hear the differences, like when you get up into the band 7, 5, 8, 8, 5, 9 category of IELTS, so those perfect scores, the differences are very slight. So the examiners are very critical about small, not even necessarily mistakes, but choosing the best possible words or grammar within context. So when I asked you this first question, what's your favorite kind of music? And you said my favorite genre. Let me just find it here. My favorite genre of music is indie pop because I think it has chill vibes that it provides me. The chill vibes was good. The provides me was a bit awkward, or it
Okay.
provides. Just simply, so in natural English, you would just simply say, I think it's because of the chill vibes. When you say it's because of the chill vibes, it's intrinsic that you feel those chill vibes when you listen to indie pop. So that was just a very slight awkward way to finish that concept, which lowers it to that band 758, right? But it's just a small difference. The other small difference, if I look at this question here, what do you use to listen to music? You said, usually I use my smartphone and laptop, and to improve my experience, I use headphones. That was really good. So until there, you have a band 9. I really liked that connection of to improve my experience. I thought that was very nice, natural, expressive English. That was great. Okay. And then you said, but apart from these physical devices, objects. Yes, you said objects, right? Even my mind naturally was trying to reach for a better word, and it was physical objects. Even physical devices would have been better because we often refer to these electronic gadgets as devices, but you said objects, and objects is a bit awkward. Like you wouldn't really hear a native speaker choosing that combination of words, physical objects, for this. They would say physical devices or gadgets, or band 9 most technically. I would probably say apart from this hardware or these hardware. Okay. I use Spotify, which is software, of course, right? So you have hardware, you have software. So I use Spotify, which is a live streaming software for choosing any music that's out there in the world today, right? So it's just those subtle differences that you need to pay attention to, Piotr, when you're speaking, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now that comes from practice. So you want lots of practice, lots of feedback, and lots of self-assessment. So I think when we were analyzing the physical objects, you started to realize like, yeah, that's kind of a weird way to say that, right? And you realize that there's some better
Yes.
words there. So that's what you want to do. You want to analyze and always correct yourself, okay?
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. You're very welcome, Piotr. Keep up the good work, and I hope you become an awesome chemist.
Okay. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. Bye for now. All right. So that was Piotr. That was quite good. I mean, of course, once you're up in that 7.5 range, you're doing well, right? So you want to focus on just that lexical resource. Another way, by the way, Piotr and everyone, to find those more natural words and expressions is by doing a lot of reading. So do a lot of reading of magazine articles, newspaper articles online, of course, mostly these days. English articles where you come in contact with these natural collocations or word choices in the situation. Okay, let's take another premium student here, Eugene. Eugene, are you ready? And don't worry, students, if you're lower in the list, I do jump around, so I don't just stay at the top of the list here. I will move around a little bit. Eugene, if you're still with me, give me a sign and I will reach out to you. Eugene is there. Awesome.
Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Eugene. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for asking. Eugene, have we talked before?
Not really. I think last week we tried to connect, but my network was very bad, so I couldn't talk to you.
Okay, but now here you are. That's fantastic. Eugene, you didn't give up. That's the key to success. Eugene, can you tell everybody where you are in the world and why you are learning for the IELTS?
Okay. Currently I live in Ghana, and it's also my motherland. And it is located in the West Africa. Um, and then I'm practicing for IELTS in order to take a next step in my career. So I want to work in the overseas, and I need a required bar score of 7.
Okay, and what profession, if I may ask?
Okay. I work as a professional nurse. I'm
Okay.
currently working in a pediatric specialist hospital.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're working with children.
Yes, please.
Okay, so nurse helping children, pediatric nurse. That's great.
Y-
I'm hats off to you. I'm happy to help you. That's a beautiful job. Okay, let me ask you a couple of questions. Are you ready?
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music?
Well, I don't normally listen to music, but as and when I become free, I try to listen to some hymns and spiritual songs. Because of the nature of my job, I don't normally get too much free time.
Where do you usually listen to music?
Come again?
Where do you usually listen to music?
Well, I normally listen to some lovely hymns whenever I'm on break at work site. I normally enjoy myself uh, in the staff lounge.
Has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years?
Yes, in my point of view, I think my music choice has changed drastically because of um, I used to listen to pop music, but as I'm advancing in age, I now love listening to hymns and other religious musics.
Okay, let me stop there and give you some feedback. Okay. So that would be about a band 7 um, level speaking, which is good because that's what you need to get, right? Is at least a band 7. And I think you can get at least a band 7. You should also maybe even be able to get a higher score, like a 7.58 even. And when you need a band 7, Eugene, as in your case, you always want to aim higher. So you never want your goal to be your minimum requirement. So you want to aim for a band 7.5 or 8. And I think you can do that, Eugene, in the speaking section for sure. You have to adjust your speaking a little bit, not much, a little bit. It's kind of the same situation as with Piotr, where you're not finding the perfect words for the situation. Like you said, but as I'm advancing in age. It's okay. It's acceptable English, but it's definitely not the best choice of English, especially not at the very good or expert level. What would be the correct word here, Eugene? It starts with an M. Maybe somebody in the chat can help us out here. Instead of advancing in age, which is okay, there's a couple of more natural ways to say this. What would be a more natural way to say that, Eugene, advancing in age?
Oh, okay. What about using whilst I'm aging
Yeah,
or
as
whilst
I'm
I'm growing?
yeah, as I'm aging or as I'm growing older. Okay, would be good. Now, Andrew in the chat and Bogdan in the chat and Aliasgar are using the expert word for you there. Do you see the word in the chat that they're giving you?
Yes, growing older.
Nope, the other one that starts with an M.
Okay, maturing. Okay,
That's right.
okay,
Yeah. So, but as I'm maturing, we mature through our entire lifetime. So even into elderly age, right? So as I'm maturing,
okay,
or as I have matured over the years, now I listen more
okay,
to. Okay. So
okay,
maturing is definitely the expert level word, and the examiner catches this, like in their head, as soon as you use that, in their head, like, oh, okay, so you mean while you're maturing. And as soon as in their head there's a word replacement that comes up, your lexical resource mark kind of suffers from that. That makes sense, right?
okay.
So it's
Yeah.
those tiny points. Now, the other really important point here, okay, and this is a very important one for you, all right?
Okay,
When I asked you how often do you listen to music, you shut down the question. You said, "Well, I don't normally listen to music." Try to avoid that in the IELTS. So try not to shut down the question. Okay.
okay,
Instead of saying
okay,
I normally don't listen to music, just say I rarely listen to music. So you can say, well, I rarely have time to listen to music. So, well, I rarely listen to music. But when I
okay,
have free time, I listen to hymns and spiritual songs. Now, whenever you get a question that deals with frequency, like how often, you should always think about numbers. Like, how often would you say, Eugene? Once a week, twice a day? So, how often do you listen to music?
normally twice a day.
Twice a day. Okay, and it doesn't have to be realistic. So on the IELTS, you don't have to like figure it out. You can just say once a day, right? So whatever comes quickly to your head. Well, I rarely listen to music as I am very busy with work. I would say at most once or twice a day for 20 minutes.
Okay,
Okay, so
okay,
that would be a much more accurate answer. Can you try that? And again, this is for everybody, so please try to repeat this, everyone, not just for Eugene. Eugene, I'm going to say the sentence and then copy after me, okay? So,
okay,
well, I rarely listen to music as I'm very busy with work. I would say at most once or twice a day for 20 minutes.
okay. Well, I rarely listen to music as I'm very busy with work, and I would say at most once or twice a day, and 20 minutes
For about 20 minutes.
for about 20 minutes.
Okay, good. Now, I asked you, where do you usually listen to music? And you gave me an okay answer there as well, but it was a bit awkward. And you said that you listen to hymns and spiritual music. Eugene, do you attend sermons? So do you go to church on Sundays or on another day?
On Sundays.
Okay. And do you listen to hymns during your Sunday sermon?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. You don't need to say please at the end of the yes. Okay. So cut that part out of the language. That's
All right.
awkward.
All
Okay.
right.
So just yes. All right. So I was expecting that. Okay. So while I was talking to you, as soon as you said hymns and spiritual music, I had this feeling that you attend church, and I was expecting that you would say that on Sundays is at churches where you listen to music. So when I asked you where do you usually listen to music, I thought for sure you might say church, but you didn't. And that was kind of like, okay, so really just during breaks at work? It was like, so you start to create this kind of maybe confusion in my head as the examiner. So here, the best answer probably would have been every week I listen to music at my local church during Sunday sermon. Aside from that, I listen to some hymns during my break time at work. Okay, so try that. Where do you usually listen to music?
Well, I listen to more music at church, at my local church, and then also whenever I get some free time at work, I listen to some few hymns as well.
Perfect, much better. That's a band 8 at least, okay? It's the clarity, so the coherence, right? So I know it, at first time volunteering, everybody's kind of nervous. It's hard to have the brain and the language all working at the same time. So
Yes,
I get it, yes. But that's what you want to
yes.
practice. And that's another big reason to show up to the exam center an hour before your interview so you can just get over that nervousness and really get into some good quality answers, okay?
Okay,
All
okay,
right.
okay.
Eugene, thank you so much for volunteering and keep up the practice. I look forward to having you back here with me in the coming classes, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. Bye, Eugene.
Bye.
All right. That was Eugene. Let's give him a thumbs up. That was his first time volunteering, and he was very brave. And what a beautiful profession Eugene has, a pediatric nurse helping children. So, we need people like you, Eugene, in the world. Thank you for volunteering with us. All right, let's take somebody else, somebody from lower down on the list. I said, we take people from lower down on the list. So let's take one more of our premium students here. Let's take Ryan. I don't think we've talked to Ryan. I don't think we have. So let's give Ryan a chance here. Ryan, are you ready? If you're there with us, let me know, Ryan. So I do move around in the list, everybody. This is for everybody to use, by the way, this chat interface, so you can talk to each other. That's why it's student partner speaking. So you do it just like what we're doing right now. You send somebody else a message. Hey, would you like to practice some IELTS speaking with me? Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Let's ask some questions. Keep this chat open whenever you're using the website. Okay. Ryan, if you are there, give me a sign. Safad says, I face some problems speaking English. Safad, this is the right place. This is where you can fix that. You can practice with other students. All right. It looks like Ryan might have gone to bed or out for a coffee or a tea. So we'll look for somebody else. Chansu. Let's see if Chansu is there. Chansu, are you ready? Let's see if Chansu is there. Yes. Okay. Hitachi, the site link is ahelp.com. I'll put it into the chat, okay?
Hi.
Hi, Chansu. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. What about you?
I am doing okay. Thank you for asking. Is this the same Chansu who sent me an email a couple days ago about the situation in Turkey?
Yes, it's me. Yes, it's me.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's good to actually hear your voice and talk to you. I'm glad we were able to help you and your friend a little bit about that, Chansu. So Chansu's from Turkey. And of course, as everybody knows in the world news today, Turkey's going through some challenging times with the natural disaster that happened there. So Chansu, we're all
Yeah.
with you in spirit, hoping that everybody gets through that as best as possible. In fact, one of our key company members is in Turkey as well, in Istanbul, and he was telling me that even the internet is a bit tricky in Turkey sometimes right now because of what happened. So I'm glad we're able to connect, Chansu.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, we are in the safe right now, so we are connected. It's very good.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you nice and clearly, which is great.
Yeah.
All right, Chansu, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
Actually, I graduated from master degree, so I want to apply for PhD degree in Europe. So I need to IELTS score. That's the reason.
Okay, and what will your PhD be focusing in?
Actually, my area is molecular biology.
Molecular biology. Now,
Yeah.
as you probably know, when you apply, especially for a PhD or a doctorate degree, as we can say, then you want to get as high of a score as possible. So they usually say like band 7 or 8 minimum, but basically you're trying to get like a band 8.5 if you can, okay?
Yeah. Actually, 6.5 is enough for apply, but yeah, if I can get the higher, it could be better.
It must be better. I'll tell you why,
Yeah.
Chansu, because 6.5 is what they say technically in the application. But when you're doing a PhD, you need a supervisor. Okay, the supervisor who is going to guide you through your thesis and your studies, and the supervisors these days will often check to see what the IELTS score is, and they will often choose students who have at least a 7.5 or higher because they want to have good communication with their PhD students, right? So you want to get at least a 7.5. Keep that in mind, okay?
Yeah, okay.
All right, not because of your university requirement, but because of your supervisor's requirement, okay?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so let me ask you some questions about music. Give me some nice full sentence answers. Watch the grammar of the questions, okay? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Where do you usually listen to music?
Actually, I'm listening to music. Um, actually, I'm using public transportation every day, so I listen to music on the bus or on the train, and I'm using Spotify or YouTube music application on my phone.
Has your
Sometimes when
choice has your choice in music changed in the last 20 years?
I'm not sure. I'm listening generally in the popular music, but it could be the change.
If you could learn to play an instrument, what would it be?
I think I can start with the easy one. Maybe I can play the guitar because I'm familiar to play the guitar. In my uh, high school years, I got some guitar lesson from my tutor. Maybe yeah, it could be the guitar.
Okay, that is the end of part one. That concludes that part of the speaking. We'll now go to part two. Okay, let me give you some feedback. So far, based on these answers, you are at about a band 6 to maybe 6.5, depending on how we do in the rest of the speaking section. You're losing marks in a few places. So you're losing a little bit in coherence. You're losing a little bit in lexical resource. You're losing a little bit in fluency. So you're kind of losing marks here and there in all of the criteria in grammar, grammatical range and accuracy as well. So for you, Chansu, you want to improve globally on all of those different criteria. Okay, so you want to improve your lexical resource, you want to improve your grammatical range and accuracy, your fluency. So you want to improve all of these together, which is okay, and that can happen nice and fast. How much time do you have before your IELTS test, Chansu?
Maybe in 3 months.
Okay, 3 months is a good amount of time. You can make a lot of improvement in 3 months, okay? So with lots of practice and good practice, effective practice, you can get up to that 7.5 range, and that's what you should be targeting, okay? Let me give you a little bit specific feedback. It sounds like you have a question. If you have a question, go ahead.
Actually, I stopped when I speaking because I am ready to your previously questions, but you asked me the new questions.
Yeah.
So
I do
I'm
that on
not ready
purpose.
to.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
that on
yeah,
purpose. You can't preload your answers. In the real IELTS exam, there's no preloading your answers. In fact, if the examiner feels like you're memorizing some English and you're trying to use that, they will switch the questions on you. Suddenly, they won't be talking about music. Suddenly, they will be talking about sports. And you'll be like, what? But you just told me we're talking about music. But if they feel like you tried to memorize some answers for music and you're using those, they will immediately switch to another topic because they really want you using original answers for the questions, okay? So you can't preload, and that's why I do it. That's why I always ask kind of surprise questions. Let me give you a bit more specific feedback. So I asked you, where do you usually listen to music? And you said, actually, I'm listening to music. Careful with your use of the be verb. So I am listening, okay? So if it's the am, then you need the ing. So actually, I am listening. And I think I gave this advice to Virgo. I'm giving you the same advice here. Don't restart your English, okay? Stay with the same English that you start with. So actually, I'm listening to music while I'm using public transportation every day. So I'm listening to music on the bus or the train on my way to work or school. For about 30 minutes in the morning and in the afternoon. Try to repeat that after me, okay? I'll say it one more time. So just listen, Chansu, and then repeat after me. Actually, I'm listening to music while I'm using public transportation every day. So I'm listening to music on the bus or the train on the way to work or school for about 30 minutes in the morning and afternoon.
Okay. Actually, I am listening to music while I am using public transportation every day. So I'm listening to music on the bus or train on the way to work or school for about 30 minutes in the morning and afternoon.
Yeah, on the way to work or school.
Yeah.
Okay. Good, much better. So that would be your at least band 7.5 or 8, okay? I think you're there. I think you're very close. You just need to really, really practice, okay? Here, has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years? I'm not sure. Do not start that way, okay? So
Okay.
that's probably the worst way to start your IELTS answer. I'm not sure. It's kind of like, what? You want to be sure. On the IELTS, you're 100% sure all the time, okay? Even if you're not sure, you're sure, all right? So there's no not sure on the IELTS, so you're always sure. Yes, it has, okay? The easiest way to reflect present perfect is with yes, it has, or no, it hasn't. Now, usually choosing the positive is the better choice. So, has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years? Yes, it has. It has changed quite a bit over the last decade.
Okay.
Try that, just that first bit. Okay, yes, it has. It has changed quite a bit over the last decade. Has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years, Chansu?
Actually, I think so, but
No, Jansu, I want you to just repeat me. So, yes, it has. It has changed quite a bit over the last decade. So, has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years?
Okay, yes, it has. It has changed quite a bit over the last decade.
Beautiful. Okay, that's exactly what I want you to do. No maybes, no nothings. It has changed quite a bit. And this is simply because I'm always listening to the most modern songs, and music is always changing. 10 years ago, I listened to Jack Johnson. Today, I listen to NSYNC. The examiner's not going to check who was when and where. Doesn't matter, okay? All right?
Okay.
Try it in this way. So, has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years?
Okay.
Go with the answer that I just gave you, but you can change the names of the songs. So, has your choice in music changed in the last 10 years? Yes, it has. It has changed. Quite a
Yes,
bit.
it has. It has changed quite a bit over the last decade.
That's because I'm always listening to the most modern songs.
That I'm listening generally to popular music, but it could be the change.
But it's always changing.
But it was always changing.
Okay, so keep your thoughts simple, right? 10 years ago, electronic was really popular. Nowadays, it's drum and bass. Just whatever comes to mind, right? So, Chansu, simple thoughts, okay? And stick to the grammar. If the grammar is present perfect, has your choice changed? You have to show me present perfect. If the grammar is conditional, if you could learn to play a musical instrument, you need to use the condition. So given the chance to learn a musical instrument, I would master the guitar because I practiced it a bit when I was in high school and I really liked the sound of it. Okay? So use the grammar of the questions, all right, Chansu, and your answers, okay? Sounds good?
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Alright.
thank you for the feedback.
Okay, you're very, very welcome. So you're close. Keep practicing, keep coming back, okay? And I'll help you out some more, all right?
Okay. I will.
Okay, bye, Chansu. We'll talk again later. Bye for now.
Bye. Goodbye.
All right. So just fingers crossed for everybody in Turkey and Syria these days. I know I live in an earthquake zone as well. We're kind of always under the danger of a big earthquake hitting Vancouver Island where I live, and I can only imagine how scary it is when that actually happens. So I really do pray for the safety of everybody there. All right, students, again, this is academic IELTS help at aehelp.com. This is the website that we're using. We're using the Student Partner Speaking. Thank you to my volunteers today. We'll have more speaking classes later in the week. Again, join the Premium IELTS package by clicking this big red button. Okay, it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime access. It's worth it. And thank you, members. You're lovely. You're a great group of people. Domenico, Bogdan, Andrew, Shayna, thank you so much, Fuang. I wish I could just talk to everybody. Maybe we'll do like a speaking marathon one day where I just keep going and keep talking to people. I'll figure that out, okay? I'll figure that out. And keep up the practice. When I'm not here, practice with each other, okay? Use the website. Students, again, lots more lessons this week. So tomorrow we've got, I believe, reading for members, and then we've got listening, part 3 and part 4. That's right, continuing from last week. So check out aehelp.com when you have a minute. Sign up for that premium package. It's worth it. You see there are lots of premium members. Interact with each other. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out for now. But I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. Have an awesome rest of your day. Much love to all of you, wherever you are. Bye.